Hey, and welcome to Matt and Jess TV. I am Matt Rose.
And I'm Jessica Button Button.
Welcome to our new Yellowjackets theory discussion. And this one is a pretty big one as we're into the home stretch of season 3 here. Did Callie kill Lottie?
Yeah, we've seen that a lot in the comments. I mean, there's
Yes.
definitely a lot of smoke there with the DNA coming back that it's Shauna's. Could it be Callie's instead? I mean, anything's possible, right? All theories are welcome here.
Yeah.
All theories are on the table until they are proven as facts. And it's very possible. I mean, Callie's got motive, Shauna's got motive, Ty has motive, but Callie definitely has some motive here. I mean, Lottie tried to kill her mom.
Are we at a fever pitch when it comes to Callie related theories in general with this show?
I
'Cause
know, right?
we've got like, is Callie pit girl? Now we have is Callie taking out Lottie? And it just, the reason I think for a lot of this is with Sarah having a larger role this season as Callie. Like it feels like they're building towards some sort of reveal with her. And as you kind of dig a little bit deeper into what's going on here with Callie and what could have happened with Lottie, there is an apparent motive. There might very well be means. I mean, there could even be opportunity. Like all of this could line up. We're going to make our case as to why this may have actually happened over the course of this video.
Absolutely.
Before we do, though, be sure to hit that subscribe button because we have all sorts of Yellowjackets reviews, previews, theories here at the channel. We love talking and speculating about where the show is going to go. We don't want you guys to miss out on any of that. I mean, also, we're in the midst of covering The White Lotus, having a great time with that. Coming up down the road, not too far, The Last of Us Season 2, the final season of The Handmaid's Tale. Those are going to be really interesting shows to dive back into as well.
Thank you so much to everyone who has hit that subscribe button. It really does help us here at the channel. And also, if you want to support us further and get more Yellowjackets content, you can follow us over on our Patreon. We'll have a link for you below. Over there, we are covering exclusively The Pit, which is airing on Max. Bosch Legacy going to be coming up its final season. And then we are also going to be covering Andor over there as well. So if you follow us over there, you can get those videos. And it is the only place that you can get those weekly reviews. So thank you so much.
Thank you guys. We really, really appreciate that.
Okay, Callie.
Yes.
Callie, she, like you said, she has had a much bigger role this season. There has to be a reason for it, that she is taking time away from the actual Yellowjackets. What are they building up to with this? We saw last season that she saw everything that happened at the end there, chasing down her mom, Lottie trying to kill her mom. I was really confused this season when Lottie showed up at Shauna's place and Shauna was like, absolutely not. You may not stay here under any circumstances.
Yeah.
And Callie stood up and was like, no, I'm all right with this. I was like, you're all right with this. Okay, what is going on here? This woman tried to kill your mother. I know you guys don't have a great relationship, but still just the same. Then as it's progressing, they have this sleepover night with Misty where Misty is passed out and they're braiding each other's hair and they're having a fun time. And then they're out like stealing stuff later and they're building up this relationship. They're singing in the kitchen. Callie's wearing the necklace. And finally, Shauna is like, okay, this is enough. Get out. Like, I'm totally done with this. Has Callie, from the minute that she was like, yeah, I'm all right with Lottie staying here, sure, that it was really about gathering information, trying to figure out what's going on with her mom, with this group, but also to get close to Lottie so that Lottie wouldn't see it coming? Like, has she been planning this since the beginning to be like, you are the person who tried to kill my mom and now I'm going to kill you?
I think there's a couple of different foundational questions we have to ask when it comes to Callie here. And I think first and foremost, it's what is Callie fully capable of doing? And this is where we got to remember why she was suspended from school when it comes to dealing with those people. And it had a lot to do with very disgusting animal guts. And it's just a situation where, okay, she's clearly capable of doing some pretty dark and pretty grisly things. So I think we have to take that into account. And also the idea that she is a teenager. She's really young. She's still trying to figure herself out. And I think a lot of the process of that is trying to understand your own emotions. And we know that a lot of, I think, what has driven Callie over time is this desire of, okay, I want to understand my mom and also understand why I kind of have to borrow a page from Dexter. Why do I have my own dark passenger
Right.
here? And I think the only way she might be able to understand her own darkness is to kind of understand her mother's darkness. So if you want to make a case that, okay, everything with Lottie was kind of thought through from the beginning, I think this is the case that Lottie is capable of doing some dark stuff. She's interested in wanting answers. She's always wanted answers, and she might see Lottie as both a means to that end, but also a means to get some sort of vengeance if she's really trying to keep this family together.
Yeah, I think Callie wanting answers. I mean, this has been going on a long time. This
Yeah,
season and the end of last season. I mean, everything that happened, very traumatic to watch
yeah.
what was happening happen to your mom. You don't know what to do. You don't understand everything. So I think her getting those answers, if she did, from Lottie, we don't know what they spoke about, but
Yeah.
seemingly there was enough there that she's wearing that necklace by the last time they saw each other. So I
Yeah.
think she's gotten enough information to start to understand her mom, but her mom just still won't let her in. We've seen Callie sneaking recordings and trying to figure out, more and more and more. She clearly wants to have some sort of relationship with her mother. And until her mother lets her in on this type of stuff, the stuff that happened back in
Mhm.
the wilderness, she's never going to really be able to be as close to her as she wants to be.
Yeah.
She has to get her to open the door.
Yeah, she wants to be close to her mom. She might view Lottie at this point as a threat that's going to keep that from happening. What do
Right.
you do about it? And I think when we come to, if we're all being citizen detectives here, I think the next question is, of course, what's the alibi? And the reality is, Callie doesn't have one because she
Right.
wasn't with her parents the day that Lottie died. It's like she had an opportunity to go with them that didn't take place. So she is kind of out there, and we have to piece together a little bit of like, okay, did Callie travel in to the city to see Lottie? And did Lottie know that she was coming to the city? Because we see Lottie like apologizing or practicing an apology at one point. Was that meant to be for Callie? Was it a, I'm sorry I dumped all this information on you? Was it an apology for somebody else? Or was all of this just unplanned? Like the circumstances around those two potentially meeting up are really, really interesting.
Yeah, because here's the thing. So we had like a receipt that somebody took this car to the city.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that could have been Callie, that could have been Shauna. We know that there was DNA from Shauna underneath Lottie's nails.
Yeah.
Could that be DNA that's actually not hers and that it's actually Callie's? Because there is similar DNA.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is her kid. So, I mean, at this point, it felt like it was very much, it could be Shauna, but at the same time, when you really look at the evidence, it's a bit circumstantial because it could be either of them. They share DNA,
Yeah.
and that receipt could be anybody driving that car.
It just, to me, it feels much more interesting for a number of reasons if it's Callie, because then you're also throwing in here this idea of, okay, was this fully planned out as we've discussed, where it's a
Mhm.
situation where it's like, okay, did Callie go to the city to see Lottie knowing
Right.
full well that this is what she was going to do? Or was it a situation where Callie got a lot of information from Lottie about what happened, but she still didn't have everything and she didn't understand everything. But then she meets up with Lottie in the city, and then this just ends up happening spur of the moment because there are a couple of different things that are interesting here. I mean, number one of them is how Lottie actually died, because you could go either way with that. Oh, this was just an accident that was the heat of the argument. Or this is a great way to set it up so that Lottie's death may look like she actually just did this to herself, or it was an accident she committed herself.
Those candles on the stairs tell
Yes.
me that this was premeditated. That needed to be there. There's no reason why there would be candles up and down those stairs unless somebody was planning this. So it feels like either she was setting it up, obviously to look like that, but she was wearing this necklace at one point.
Yeah.
So was Lottie then giving her the necklace to be like, hey, you're the next generation. You're going to be the next generation leader of all of this. And she's just like, oh, I'm the next generation leader of all this. Well, then you got to go because you were this leader for this group for a while there. You can't be here anymore. And you made the decision to try to kill my mom. So yeah, you got to go.
Yeah, and I think that if she has gotten enough information from Lottie about the way in which the wilderness operated X, Y, or Z, like
Right.
she would know enough to be able to plant the candles. Because yeah, the candles are a very huge part of this because it
Yes.
basically signals that, okay,
It is fire.
yeah, whoever did this has a pretty intimate knowledge of who Lottie is, what Lottie has gone through, and they
Yes.
really wanted to set up that sort of spiritual air about it. But then if you're even going deeper psychologically with Callie in particular, like there's so many different ways to view what she did here because it could just be, okay, this is just full on, your favorite. This is full on revenge because of everything that's done
Let's go.
with Shauna. It may also be this idea of, oh, you put this necklace on me. This necklace means some very, very bad things. Like, I'm going to show you that, okay, this idea of spirituality, this, oh, you're fated to this, like, this doesn't really mean anything because I'm just going to take you out right then and there. And you were not, and you were the person bestowing the necklace on me.
Yes, exactly. That if she is the next generation, then it's time for her to choose. And she's chosen Lottie for many reasons. If she is the person that's behind it, it feels like it's going to be for a multitude of reasons, not just one thing. I love revenge. I
Yeah.
think that'll probably be part of it. She's gotten what she needs from her. She's the next generation of Yellowjackets that's going to be, carrying on the torch. I think it's going to be a bunch of different things. I think she has been sort of brought into all of this. We know that Lottie was leading this compound of people that were believing everything she said. She wants to be close to her mom. She's at a vulnerable time in her life, as we all were as impressionable teenagers. You want to be close to your parents.
Yeah.
She's willing to do what it takes.
If we're going to try to really like bring all of this back around to the possibility that Callie is Pit Girl, like here's some of what you could say to justify all of
Right.
this is that Callie is a teenager. She does not have a lot of experience with this. The idea that she's fully going to get away with this if she did it feels to me pretty hard to digest, that she is just going to take on the perfect crime here and it's going to be fine because, we've already seen Misty's doing a lot of work. She's already got some information. You could come up with a case that it's like, okay, Callie did this. All the Yellowjackets know. Do you try to punish her in your own sort of way? And this could lead to some sort of weird edit splicing where we learned that she's Pit Girl, but they tried to make you think that everything was Pit Girl in the past. And like,
Yeah.
that could be where they go with this.
Absolutely. Okay, so we've talked about Callie. We've talked a little bit about Shauna as well. I
Yeah.
mean, the DNA is Shauna's, so she does have the receipt in the car. She also has reasons to want to kill Lottie.
Yes.
Lottie tried to kill her. She has also said the whole there can only be one last person standing kind of thing, that the only way to protect the secret is to be the only one with the secret. She may be trying to protect her family. We know that that's going on. She hates that Lottie put the necklace on her daughter. There's a lot of reasons that Shauna would be behind this, and we know that Shauna is fully capable of doing this. If she thinks that something is a threat to her, she will take them out.
I think the question that I would have with Shauna is, are you Yellowjackets producers? Are you guys coming up with this particular mystery to really, really surprise us? Or are you just coming up with this to basically set the stage for a really crazy next act of the show, which is just telling us that, okay, Shauna will do anything and everything. Shauna's eventually going to take everybody out. Like, that is compelling, and you can have Shauna be the killer here and just sort of set up for that and kind of be like, okay, the murder is a little bit predictable, but what's going to happen is really exciting. But I would also argue that if you do go the Callie direction, the idea of, okay, Callie did this, and then Shauna's not going to do anything about it, and Shauna's just going to be like, okay, I'm actually not that upset about this at all. Like, that's just as dangerous to me if I'm one of the other Yellowjackets, because it's like, okay, Shauna's capable of this and
Yes.
Callie's capable of this. And what, are you going to count on mild-mannered Jeff, who just wants to sit in the hotel and watch TV, to actually stop any of this from going on?
Yeah, I mean, this is another, arrow towards Callie was this last episode, having her really sit down with her dad and like put her hand, on his hand and be like, I think it's time that we really look at mom for who mom is and stop keeping the blinders on. If we're going to be a family and we're all going to be together,
Yeah.
we need to actually look at each other of who we are, for who we are, and accept it and be together, or this doesn't work.
Yeah. My heart's going to go out to Jeff if Callie did this, because then that whole conversation is going to turn into, we also need to look at you, Callie.
Right. I mean, then the family really does need to come together if they're going to protect her.
Okay, so the last person to really get into here is Ty. You set this up at the start of the episode. Like, Ty, she's got a clear motive, but she's also got a major part of herself that she can't even control, right?
Absolutely. And we know that she did see Lottie as well. I think these are really the three main suspects of who killed Lottie. Like, there are people on the fringes of like, oh, maybe it's the person who sent the tape or whatever. There's other people it could be, but it feels like it's really these three people, but more so it's either going to be a Shauna or a Callie.
I think what's made this entire storyline to me so interesting is just that a few weeks ago, I was fully down the rabbit hole of, okay, whoever did this is the same person who sent the tape, so it's all got to be Hillary Swank. Hillary Swank is just responsible, because I think it was just the easiest answer to come up with.
For sure.
This was a part of this big orchestrated plot, and yeah, it's always possible that that's the case, but it is just like, now that we've kind of gone through what we've gone through with these women and also Callie, we've kind of evolved to this point where if you are tape person, if you are Hillary Swank or whoever she ends up playing, it's like, sure, you can take out Lottie, but that's kind of a ho-hum reveal at this point when you don't have any sort of recent history with those characters. It is much more interesting if it's somebody who has actively been involved in the story, who we've seen, and we would understand the timing of that a lot more than somebody who has just been off screen for the entirety of the present day storyline.
Yeah, listen, Hillary Swank does not need to like roll up in the final reel and be like, I did it. Like, it's not going to be satisfying.
No.
And while I'll say like the first half of this season was kind of all over the place,
Yeah.
this second half of the season so far has been pretty good. Like, I mean, they have actually pulled me in on the present day story of the Yellowjackets, which is something that I've always struggled with throughout all the seasons of this show. And now I'm like fully invested. So yeah, if they just, she's just going to show up at the end and be like, hey guys, I did it. And there was no way for you guys to really know. It's kind of like, okay.
That's the weird thing about where we are right now, because the pressure is actually on the present day story to deliver this in a way that this show has not had pressure on the present day story in a really long time. Like, I'm more engrossed in Yellowjackets right now than I've probably been since season 1, because I think you set it up like these past few episodes have been really, really good. And so now it's like, okay, guys, you've really set the bar here. You got to find a way to deliver. And I would like for it to be surprising, but above all else, I want it to make sense, and I want it to set up something else that's coming up after.
They are really going to have to explain that DNA if it is not Callie or it is not Shauna. For DNA to be under your fingernails, you are scratching at somebody. Somebody is very likely attacking you. So if it is not one of the two of them, and they don't give me a good explanation of why there is DNA under Lottie's fingernails, then like, I'm going to be at a loss. It really feels like there is only two choices. I know Ty's kind of on the table, but it just doesn't feel like there's anybody else. It is Shauna or it is Callie.
Yeah, it's hard to buy this idea that Lottie is just like, I don't know, like running her fingernails all over all these different parts of Shauna's house to get DNA there.
No, no.
It feels like this is where we are going, but of course, we want to hear from you guys on all of this. Do you think that Callie ended up killing Lottie? And if not, do you think it's Shauna, Ty, somebody else? Give us your thoughts, your theories. Also, hit that subscribe button for more Yellow Jackets reviews. The Last of Us coming up in the near future, as is The Handmaid's Tale, and you can support us further by joining our Patreon. That link is in the description.
Yep.
We are covering there exclusively in video form. The Pit coming up, Bosch Legacy, and then also Andor. Thank you so much to our patrons. We'll see you guys here next time.